All right, take 3. Hey gang, Duster Dan signing on. As you probably guessed, I'm not in California anymore. I'm in South Carolina, and now I get a chance to re-roof one of my own projects here on my own property. So I wanted to show y'all a couple of tips and tricks for laying a comp shingle roof on the starter here, on the ridge up there, and along the rake edges, and how I keep that rake edge nice and clean, how and why I use the starter that I do here, how and why I use the ridge at the top. 30 years of roofing experience has taught me a few tricks over the years, and I'm hoping to pass some of those tricks on to you to save you time and money on resources and make your roofs turn out fantastic. That is, if you apply what I show you. Okay, so anyways, and you can run a starter course down here if you want to. I choose to use the top portion of a whole standard shingle, and there are a couple reasons why I do. One is you don't use that at the top when you run your final piece of shingle across the ridge. You end up cutting off a portion of the top of the shingle and throwing it away, so that's wasteful. I prefer to cut it off in the first place and then set my glued edge, my color edge, aside for when I want to run it across the ridge. Okay, so that's what I do with the lower portion of the shingle that I cut to use the top portion down here. And so anyways, I hang this over about 1/2 inch. I think 3/4 of an inch is standard. I like it a little cleaner than that, a little tighter, and then it doesn't bend over or sag over time, but it still does the job and never you know, allows for water to creep under that edge. So I go a 1/2 inch overlap there, 1/2 inch overlap on my sides, just roughly, maybe 5/8. Now, why do I do this instead of just running a full shingle? Well, again, even if it's 3 tab, it's wasteful. Not to mention the fact that you end up with a double layer thickness all the way up to here until you start laying your subsequent courses, and then you end up with a little dip right across here because it's double thick and then single thick progressively as it goes up. And you go to put 2 or 3 roofs on a house, you're going to end up with doubling that thickness every time you put a new roof on your house. And again, it's wasteful, and eventually it causes problems right about here, and water starts to pool because it has to get over a little ridge because you doubled up on the shingle. You laid a piece of 3 tab backwards, and then you laid your full course of whatever other kind of shingle on top of that. So you got full course, and then your next one steps up. Feel free to comment or ask questions if you need any more details or clarification on that. It's not real obvious to most folks, but after 30 years of roofing, I've seen that cause countless problems on countless roofs. I've been on thousands of roofs doing thousands of repairs, and that's one of the more common problems that I've seen and had to fix. So okay, so next thing comes the full shingle course. Let's grab us a full shingle. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Sorry about not having a tripod. It's kind of hard to have a tripod on the road. Okay, so anyways, this overlaps like this. You see that? You see how the starter course goes up past the color and keeps that first course watertight? So that's all you need, is to go up past this line right here. Actually, not the line, but the dimensional portion of the shingle. As long as this is exposed and from that point up is covered by the next course, you're good to go. So that will be the case when we lay our next course right there. So you have a waterproof starter and a waterproof first course, but you don't have the double shingle thickness coming all the way up to here and eventually causing a little pool all the way across this drip edge. Make sense? Okay, so how do I, so that's 2 out of the 3. Now I'm going to get to how do I keep a clean, straight rake edge coming up here without laying a bleeder going up the side like a lot of guys do. They'll run a bleeder like that to give them a straight edge. The point is, when you go to lay your shingles on there, you got to cut them anyways. So what do? Run a straight bleeder and cut your shingles all crappy and cattywampus? No, you don't. You cut them straight. So why run the bleeder in the first place? Not necessary. Drip edge metal doesn't require it. The shingles don't need it to stay waterproof, and if you have a good overlap on the side, you'll never need it. It'll be watertight. So let me go over to the other side where I'm working, and I'll show you the example, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, and we'll call it a day and wrap this video up, and I can get back to work instead of yakking. Alright, so here we go over here. Here we go over here. So what do you do to get this edge straight? As you can see, these are all darn straight, but I'm not running any bleeder. See that? I had a fellow contractor, good friend of mine in California, asked me, how do you keep your rake edge? How do you keep your shingle straight going up that rake edge? I said, dude, how do you make it not straight? So anyways, here's I don't know how he does it. I know he always runs a bleeder, but he's got guys that are mostly incompetent, and so well, I won't say mostly incompetent. He may be watching this video, but occasionally you know, he knows what he's doing, but not all his guys do, and that's the point. So here goes. When I need a portion of shingle in here and I need it to be straight, parallel or flush with this edge, and come all the way back to here and be a perfect fit for that space, like this one now is. Now I have it upside down to cut it, but when I install it, obviously I'll turn it over. So how do I get this piece straight cut along that edge? I'll show you. Take a bigger portion, spare shingle laying around, and I set it flush there, okay, and a 1/2 inch over up there, and then I leave a little portion of this shingle underneath it showing. See that? Okay, I leave that showing so I know where to make my cut at, and I just come straight down with my razor knife, and I just cut that bad boy straight down all the way, and I just score it. And then of course, making a straight cut's kind of hectic sometimes, so I will often, once I score it, I'll bend it. The first primary layer here will crack, and then I'll be able to get my razor knife through the second layer down below fairly straight without it, you know, catching and getting all crazy on it. So anyways, that's what I do, and then that piece fits perfectly in that section. I move on to the next one, next one, next one. So let's take a look and see how I did. All right. Actually, without nailing them right now, just for display, I'll show you. So there it is, nice straight edge, almost perfect. Okay, nice fit over here. Perfect. Okay, now let's look at our next one. That's this one. Go ahead and plop that one in. Yeah, they're all wanting to slide. By the way, this is a 5 and 12 pitch. It's just about perfect for water runoff. 4 and 12 or under, you start to run into runoff problems, and water stays on the roof too long, and it can cause trouble getting into the crevices. All right, so there's that again. Nice clean line, about a 1/2 inch over there. Nice clean fit here. Again, took another shingle. It was larger than this one. Flipped it over on its back, flushed it up there, 1/2 inch up there, brought it over here, left this one exposed, made my cut, and created this shingle. Now let's see how I did. There we go, nice and flushed up. Okay, 1/2 inch up there, nice tight fit along here. And that's how you do it. I just keep, once I fill all this area in, I come over here, I've got my pattern, I go ahead and I flip them over, 1/2 inch up there, flush down here, leave this thing exposed, make my cut, flip it over, and that piece fits perfect. You continue on up until you're done. All right, well, thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate all the support, subs, likes, all that. And really apologize to my Southern California customers that I'm no longer roofing in California, nor am I roofing here. But like I said, I'm working on my own house. So there's no reason why I can't continue to teach people and, you know, pass on tips and tricks and you know, just to help people. If this was not a help and you already know how to do it, well, kudos to you. You know, more power to you. Just remember to take good care of your customers and do quality craftsmanship, because you will never regret it. And because the competition nowadays do not or does not focus on quality for the most part, you will crush your competition if you take good care of your customers and do quality craftsmanship work. So I just want to remind you, you professionals, you experts, that is the case. I know, because I ran my own successful business in California for 20 years and I have 30 years experience at my job. So of roofing, repairs, re-roofs, you name it, I've done it all. So like I said, I apologize to my California roofer customers that I'm not there anymore, but if you have any questions or if there's anything I can do to help from the other side of the country, just let me know. Questions, comments, or resources that you might need. I'll do whatever I can. So wish you all the best. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Dan out.